I am Dr. Max Miller. I was in the first class at the Air Force Academy, class of 1959. I entered it on the 11th of July, 1955, and I retired on the 1st of August, 1985. I spent uh, 4 years at the Academy, and the rest of my time was spent in the Air Force doing various jobs, which I'll outline. Uh, I'm not a medical doctor. I have a PhD in electrical engineering, which the Air Force was kind enough to give me 4 years at the academy and 4.5 years in graduate school. So the Air Force has been very good to me, and I have tried to return the favor. My dad's story was around the period of Fiddler on the Roof. It was he came over in 1906 or 1907, in that time frame, as a 2 or 3 year old, and he was sponsored by his dad was sponsored by his dad was Sam, was being conscripted into the Tsar's army to be used as cannon fodder in Russia. So they left Belarus and came to the U.S., being sponsored by my grandfather's brother Morris. And this will be important later. Morris had 4 children, but 2 of them were David and Mary Miller. Mary Miller subsequently married a Mr. Silverman, and the rest of that story will be coming later. They grew up in Lynchburg, Virginia, and I'm not sure how that was selected. I guess that's where the sponsor was. They were extremely poor because they had to leave everything back in order to get out of the country. They could bring nothing with them. They ran a small store in Lynchburg, and they lived over that little store. And I visited that a few years ago. It's in an urban renewal area. Right now, it's all boarded up and will be torn down. As I said, they were poor, so my dad worked. He was a paper route and various things until he got old enough to do a bit more job, and he worked in a grocery store. And when he was a senior in high school, one of the local merchants in Lynchburg is a town with a lot of manufacturing, or it was in those days. And one of the manufacturers was in the grocery store, and he said his name was Max also. We must have been Sephardic. I think you, Rabbi, know that the Sephardic had no prohibition on naming as Ashkenazi do. And I didn't know that at all, but I always got the question, well, why are you a junior? And so I learned about the Sephardim, and so I said, well, we must have been Sephardic. Of course we weren't, but they did it because they wanted to. But the fellow in the grocery store said, where are you going to college? And my dad said, I'm not. And he said, why not? You're a smart man, smart young man. And the Christian entrepreneur or factory owner said, well, you come by my plant on Monday morning. So we went by, and he said, I will give you the money to go. You work while you're going to college. It was a military school, so he had to work on the grounds. He worked in the dining hall serving meals. And he said, you pay me back after you get a job. And that's how it worked. Did not graduate in the top 10%. So that's all. The only ones that went into the military were active duty, were the top 10%. And he was with the other 90% that went into the inactive reserve. He went to North Carolina, and he was an electrical engineer, and he went to work for the power company, and he paid the fellow back. And I do not know his name. I wish I did. I wish I could contact his family.